Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome today. It's great to see you all this morning, and we're here this summer, this third weekend in June, as we enter into our reopening time together, and we're sitting with and mulling over these words. We began by remembering, and then we turned, and we continue today with rejoice. That is our word today, and we celebrate Pride Sunday. And rejoice can feel like a slippery word, especially when we've been through so much collectively. So rejoice can be aspirational today. And we can celebrate one another if we can't celebrate for ourselves. So come, let us worship the source of love that we call God. I'm Julia Berkey, and I'm your new senior pastor, and it is a delight to be with you and to continue to get to know you and to witness as you connect with one another again for the first time. And I wanted to share that after church today and on most Sundays, I'm holding a circle of connection, and that will be held in the Garth Meditation Garden area, and we'll have chairs out there. And I've been asking that people sign up for these, but there are a few spots available today. So if you have time between 11:15 and 12:30 and you'd like to sit and share time with me and others, you are welcome to join. And we're asking that you bring an object or item or memento, could be a poem, that is meaningful to you as a way of meeting each other and sharing stories that have meaning and make connection. So next Sunday, we are going to be at Moon Beach, right, Tammy?
Mm-hmm. We're heading up to Moon Beach.
And Gabe is too. And we are having a watch party here for a pre-recorded service. So it's a little funny to be doing that, but I think it will be joyful, and it will be Ken preaching and leading with the word revive. And so we'll be grateful to hear from you, Ken. And the following Sunday, July 4th, we are having communion service, 9 a.m. out here. And you're again to bring your own communion glass or cup and chair or blanket to sit on. Let's see. What else we got?
And some general announcements.
Yeah.
Java and Jesus today will meet remotely at 11:30 will be the start time. So for those who are watching at home, please join in if you'd like. And for you might be able to scooch home in time for that 11:30 Java and Jesus time. Also, virtual coffee hour is continuing to meet, and that will start at 11 o'clock today. And then just a reminder that for the month of June, our compassion offering will be to Just Dane.
And this morning, we are grateful to begin our worship after the prelude and with these announcements with a creation care moment. The Care of Creation team is beginning these moments, which will be the third Sunday of every month. And Sarah Roberts will begin our Care of Creation moment. And it's a way about, you can read the language that they've developed here on the, what do we call these? Projector screens, boards on the walls.
Right.
Those are walls. So just a way of lifting up our collective shared love of creation. And so we invite you forward, Sarah, to share with us your creation care moment.
Thank you very much, and good morning. Wonderful, as always, to be back and to see everybody in this space. So, as you can see, Care of Creation thought we would like to share experiences in nature and maybe some poetry and maybe some stories and maybe some information and maybe some actions over the months that we're going to be doing this on the third Thursday. So I originally had a different idea for what I wanted to do today, but when I heard the word was rejoice, I thought, well, there's just one thing I can do today, and that's to share with you my love and joy in going to the Boundary Waters, which is my soul place. So I went there in 1966 for the first time, and it was the excitement of an adventure to put a canoe in the water and paddle away from roads into a wilderness. I mean, the excitement of that, and portaging and visiting other lakes and all of that stuff. That was just the wonderful adventure of it. And I was a lot younger then too, but but then, over time, the things that began to matter the most were the solitude, the beauty, the stillness of a lake in the morning when you wake up and it's calm, and the mist on the water, or sitting on that ancient rock in northern Minnesota and contemplating the world and God, and the song of the loon, which those of you who know loons know what a beautiful song that is. So all of the beauty in those kinds of experiences just deepened in my soul how wonderful that special place is. And then there were the companions. I went with, among other, during all the years that I've been going, my sister-in-law Dolores, who many of you know, my nieces, my daughters, Carolyn's daughter, my great-nieces, and my best friend Antoinette. We've been doing that for years and years together. And having companions who feel that deep love and care for that same beautiful place, it just brings so much joy. So I rejoice in that today. And I invite you to think about your soul place in nature. Where is that place where when you go there, it touches you in a deep way, in a way that connects you to God and to all of creation? So I hope you have time to reflect on that today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. So beautiful and grounding. And so now let us rise in body or in spirit and sing together. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Let us sing. Join us in this call to worship. Strange one, fabulous one, fluid and ever-becoming one.
Allow us to experience your up-close beauty and your vast mystery.
You are as close to us as our own breath, and yet your essence transcends all that we can imagine.
You are mother, father, and parent. You are sister, brother, and sibling. You are drag queen, trans man, and gender fluid, incapable of limiting your vast expressions of beauty.
Embodied in us, your creation, we recognize our flesh in all its forms is made holy in you. With thanksgiving, we celebrate your manifestation in all its glorious forms.
Blessed are our bodies. Blessed is our love. Blessed are we when we celebrate that which the world turns away.
Fill our hearts with a pride rooted in resistance to all that seeks to destroy. May we delight in the ways you have created us, diverse, unique, surprising, and beautiful.
Thanks be to God.
You may be seated.
We turn now to a time of prayer, and I will begin by leading in the prayers of joy. And do we have in the bulletin what our refrain?
Our loving
Our
God.
loving God. I'm glad I asked. I was going to make one up. So I will say, our loving God, and you will reply, hear our prayer. For National Juneteenth celebrations to mark the anniversary of when enslaved people in Galveston, Texas, learned of emancipation. Oh boy. Take a breath, Ken. Emancipation. There we go. Emancipation. Our loving God.
Hear our prayer.
For the upcoming family camp at Moon Beach. Loving God.
Hear our prayer.
For the Heart Room Ministry and Mission and the wonderful celebration hosted by the catering mission team last Sunday after worship. Our loving God.
Hear our prayer.
For Pastor Julia, Daniel, and Reverie in their house buying process this past week. Our loving God.
Hear our prayer.
For Pride celebrations all around the country, even the world, in the month of June. Our loving God. Hear our prayer. And one of our members provided this beautiful rainbow flag just this week, so we celebrate that also, the Pride flag on the table today. Our loving God.
Hear our prayer.
For fathers on Father's Day, all who are a father, would you stand as you were able as we thank God for you today? Our loving God.
Hear our prayer.
For the summer solstice, which is today, the longest day of the year, and joy for all the gifts and joys of summer. Our loving God.
Hear our prayer.
And today we have Ted and Deb Drusen with us. They joined the church virtually in February, but they are here in person in our worship space with all of us for the very first time as new members. Would you two stand? Welcome, Ted and Deb. Our loving God.
Hear our prayer. And now hear the prayers of concern. We ask for prayers for John Gilbert as he anticipates his release from prison sometime later this summer and enters into a halfway house. Our loving God. And for Darcy Loma and her daughters as they continue to rebuild relationships with John. Our loving God.
Hear our prayer.
Prayers for Kate Cruz, whose husband, Michael Smith, passed away a number of weeks ago, and prayers of comfort for Kate and her family, and an invitation to all of you that the memorial service for Michael Smith will be this Saturday at 2 o'clock, and all are welcome to that memorial service. Our loving God.
Hear our prayer.
And we pray for Barb Stretchberry's mom as she now is receiving hospice care at home. Our loving God.
Hear our prayer.
And then there were a couple prayer concerns in our prayer journal. Prayers for our friend Stevie and his 15-year-old son, Elijah. Elijah was severely beaten by his mother's boyfriend, and his life is in peril as he moves into and out of a coma. So this comes from John Lemke and Pam Oliver, who good friends with Stevie and their son. Our loving God.
Hear our prayer.
And Leslie Linzer asks for prayers for her mom, who is having some health issues. Our loving God.
Hear our prayer.
We ask God to hear our prayers, these that have been named. And I'm aware of many, many prayer concerns that people hold in their hearts, but aren't really able to share publicly. So we gather all of those concerns and joys that live in our hearts. We offer them back to God. And there is a prayer of Jesus printed in your order of worship that we will share together. Our beloved parent, in whom we move and breathe and have our being, the hallowing of your name shines forth in the diversity of your children. May your peace and love, justice and equality, inclusion and belonging reign here on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us for the ways that we have fallen short and failed each other. Forgive us of the times we turned away or did not care, for the times we laughed or judged a unique expression of your image, as we forgive those who might have failed us. Lead us away from the temptation to be complacent in the face of injustice, but instead give us courage to stand up and stand with your beloved children. For your love and justice is to be made manifest now and forever. Amen.
This is a Kirtan Mantra, or a Kirtan meditation. It's a sung meditation. But before we start singing, let's take some deep breaths. We'll start with some echoing. So I'll sing, and then you sing. Let's do that again. I'll sing first. I am. hum. I am bountiful. I am blissful. I am beautiful. I am, sing that part again. I am bountiful. I am blissful. I am beautiful. I am, keep going. I am bountiful. I am blissful. I am beautiful. I am, try closing your eyes. I am bountiful. I am blissful. I am beautiful. I am bountiful. I am blissful. I am beautiful. I am bountiful. I am blissful. I am beautiful. I am bountiful. I am blissful. I am beautiful. I am so hum, so hum, so hum, so hum, so hum. Bring it down. So hum, 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 so hum. Change to O. Once more.
Our sacred text today comes from Psalm 139. O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from far away. You search out my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all of my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, O Lord, you know it completely. You hem me in, behind and before, and lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is so high that I cannot attain it. Where can I go from your spirit? Or where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and settle at the farthest limits of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me and your right hand shall hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me and the light around me become night. Even the darkness is not dark to you. The night is as bright as the day, for darkness is as light to you. For it was you who formed my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works that I know very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes beheld my unformed substance. In your book were written all the days that were formed for me, when none of them as yet existed. How weighty to me are your thoughts, O God. How vast is the sum of them. I try to count them. They are more than the sand. I come to the end. I am still with you. This is the witness of the people of God.
This is a first for me in this space, unmasking, and it feels vulnerable, but it feels right. So I ask for your prayers, and I'm going to put this beautiful stole on to help me feel a little bit more, secure. It's got rainbows on it, and it matches the day. So will you pray with me? May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all of our hearts be aligned with you, O God, our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. Amen. Reverie, our baby daughter, has what's called a hemangioma on the top of her head. It's a type of benign tumor, and it's bright red, almost purple. It's called a strawberry birthmark, and these hemangiomas begin growing at about 3 or 4 weeks of age, and then at about 5 months, they begin gradually shrinking over time until they mostly disappear. When we took Reverie to a specialist at UW Health, she talked us through the treatment options, but ultimately recommended none of them, saying that this birthmark, there's nothing medically harmful about it. It's only the social stigma, she said, since people see red and think blood or harm. And we are sure, she said, to get the random old lady in the grocery store who's trying to be helpful but gives us advice about how not to drop our baby on her head. Reverie will really have no memory of this. And the only stigma will be what Daniel and I feel. It's just us parents. And so when the doctor shared this with me, I reflected for a moment and thought about the social constraints around bodily perfection and how quickly our worry about the birthmark on her head could spiral into shame about any other trait or characteristic outside the norm. And we know what the norm is, that tight box that every other is measured against. What's in that normative box? It's whiteness, it's maleness, it's cisgenderedness, heterosexuality, neurotypical, thin, healthy, educated, American citizen, Christian, and any trait outside that norm is seen as a deviation. There are pressures and structures that exist guiding the way to what success looks like in human form, or what a good body or skull looks like. And these structures or pressures, you know about them, we all live with them, can cause so much suffering. Discrimination, mental health issues, housing and job insecurity and instability, and also personal feelings of worthlessness when we deviate even a little, which all of us do. And then I think about people who hold so many of these identities. I think about Black trans women specifically, and how the intersection of their identities cause these women to have a life expectancy of 35 years old. And they become the victims of violence at alarming rates. And even those of us whose identities do not lend themselves to systemic oppression, so many of us and so many young people have difficulty knowing ourselves as beloved. Knowing our very being, our bodies as good. One of my favorite theory books is called The Queer Art of Failure. It states that queer liberation, and that word is used in academic settings and used by communities now, but it can be also triggering for some, especially those who lived through periods where queer was seen as a slur. It's sort of a reclaimed, re-owned version that some folks find liberating, including myself. And so this queer liberation seeks to fail at these norms on purpose, to create an ethic of liberation and freedom. Because God does not intend for our expression, our being, our bodies to be constrained or to be in boxes, or for any of us to feel shame. When the psalmist waxes poetically, and Al, you read that so beautifully, I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works that I know well. My frame was not hidden from you while I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. I come to the end, and I am still with you. What does it mean that we are fearfully and wonderfully made? A lot of us are seeing people for the first time, coming out, re-emerging, and maybe our bodies are a little bit different, or our faces are a little bit longer, or we have more wrinkles, or we haven't had a haircut for a really long time. And as we come out of COVID, this psalm reminds us that everybody is a good body. Every one of us was intricately woven in the depths of the earth. I just love that. Our unformed substance beheld by God. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. And if we are feeling differently insecure or differently vulnerable emerging from this time, perhaps the mantra, I am fearfully and wonderfully made, we can't quite fill it up in our bodies yet, but we can celebrate it for one another. I can say with authority that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So what does it mean to be fearfully and wonderfully made? Fear, vulnerability. Fear is second nature to us. We fear snakes, spiders. What else are we afraid of? Public speaking is like the number one fear. It's higher than dying. We are indeed fearfully made. And looking at the etymology of this word in Hebrew, it's all over the Hebrew Bible, the fear of God. And for so long, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way because I was sort of, in New Age circles, fear is seen as kind of like the opposite of being in God's love or something. But in the Hebrew Bible, being fearfully made is admitting the vulnerability of being human. And the etymology of this word, fear, it actually means, rather than just being afraid, it means to stand in awe or astonishment, to inspire reverence. A fear of God or in God is reverence and awe for God's mystery and presence. It's a way of not allowing ourselves to get on top of our belief or our faith, but being in relationship with the sublime, with awe, with mystery, with astonishment. When we might rather numb ourselves because being afraid is uncomfortable. But with God, being afraid means aliveness. Fear isn't bad, it connects us to our aliveness. And what if we stayed with the sensation of fear and allowed our fear to turn into awe and then turn into praising God or rejoicing from where we are? wonderfully made, fearfully and wonderfully made, to be made of wonder. I would imagine, but then again, digging into the Hebrew, it means to set apart, distinguished, to make a distinction. And I was reading this while I was feeding Reverie, and it actually means to be separate from sucking or to wean. To be wonderfully made, to make distinct that we are not each other, we are separate. This is our uniqueness. A teacher and a friend of mine, Isha Vela, says that because of the restrictive range in which we learn to appropriately express our uniqueness, ourselves, according to the systems and structures that we all feel, those boxes, our fully human, authentic expression will always involve vulnerability and risk. Our fully human, authentic expression will always involve vulnerability and risk, so revealing ourselves to each other. Because collectively, and it will cause us to wrangle with fear, our fully human expression of aliveness. And it will cause us to wrangle with ancestral cellular stuff that is there blocking us. Because collectively, our nervous systems are loaded up with centuries upon centuries of survivalist mentality and behaviors. And as a result, she says, we are safety-seeking missiles, directing our energies to people and things that bring respite from the fear. And we know what that feels like too. Substances, screens, shopping, whatever it is. We all know those particular forms of safety that take us away from our aliveness, but also bring comfort. But if we stick with those, they also promise us, what she says, a slow death from our aliveness, which delights itself through uncovering the unknown, that awe and mystery. Uncovering the unknown, staying with fear, aliveness, praise, and wonder. She says that decolonization is not the opposite of colonization. Aliveness is the opposite of colonization. As we seek collective liberation, which we do, dismantling these boxes and systems, dismantling white supremacy and discrimination in all forms, returning to our bodies is part of that liberation. We don't, as we step out of these boxes, replace the hate for the other with the hate of ourselves if we carry normative traits. We celebrate each other as we seek authentic expression outside of the prescribed boxes and seek to liberate our culture and the world from these systemic oppressions. So what this comes to mean is that I don't hate my white skin. I hate the institutions and belief systems that place a higher value on my white skin. I hate systems of racism and white supremacy. And I don't hate other white people. I hate the actions and inactions and belief systems and statements that preserve and protect whiteness, straightness, maleness, whatever it is that is privileged above. I don't hate men when I'm a radical feminist. I celebrate everyone's body. And when I tune into my own body lately, I admit that I am having trouble connecting to my boundless, God-given joy and aliveness. After being in a fear place for so long with this COVID, the word rejoice, which is our word for today, feels like a slippery fish. The experience of the pandemic is still in my body. Maybe yours too. still in my spirit and my mind, and these pandemic feelings of numbness, of survival, of lethargy. And I know capitalism or denial wants us to move from them. But in order to feel that joy and aliveness, I feel the invitation from this psalm and from God to stay with the vulnerability, the fear, the tenderness. And so I am. We noticed that Reverie's hemangioma is beginning to shrink. It's beginning to retreat back like the doctors said it would. And Daniel, being the fabulous father he is, happy Father's Day, wherever you are, suggested recently that he was going to really miss it when it goes. I'll miss her mark, he says. I don't want us to be ashamed of it. I want to celebrate it. And so we started to call it her strawberry unicorn angel kiss. Beloved, we say, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Rejoice. Amen.
Amen.
This is also a bit of an echo. You. 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 You are. 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 You are fearfully. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. 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 Rejoice. You are.
So let us rejoice as best we can. Let us rise in body and in spirit and sing together, joyful, joyful. You embody all the colors of the world. Hear this blessing and prayer of the rainbow. And as you hear each of these, you may internalize these colors and feel the blessing around you. This is from queer theologian Patrick Chang, the Rainbow Christ blessing. Red is for life, the root of spirit. Living and self-loving Christ, you are our root. Free us from shame and grant us the grace of healthy pride so we can follow our own inner light. With the red stripe of the rainbow, we give thanks that God created us just the way we are. Orange is for sexuality, the fire of spirit. Living and self-loving Christ, you are our root. You are our fire, the word made flesh. Free us from exploitation and grant us the grace of mutual relationships. With the orange stripe in the rainbow, kindle a fire of passion in us. Yellow is for self-esteem, the core of spirit. Out, Christ, you are our core. Free us from the closets of secrecy and give us the guts and grace to come out in any ways. With the yellow stripe in the rainbow, build our confidence. Green is for love, the heart of spirit. Transgressive outlaw Christ, you are our heart, breaking rules out of love. In a world obsessed with purity, you touch the sick and eat with outcasts. Free us from conformity and grant us the grace of deviance. With the green stripe of the rainbow, fill our hearts with untamed compassion for all beings. Yes. Blue is for self-expression, the voice of spirit. Liberator Christ, you are our voice speaking out against all forms of oppression. Free us from apathy and grant us the grace of activism. With the blue stripe in the rainbow, motivate us to call for justice. Violet is for vision, the wisdom of spirit. Interconnected Christ, you are our wisdom, creating and sustaining the universe. Free us from isolation and grant us the grace of interdependence. With the violet stripe in the rainbow, connect us with others and with the whole of creation. Rainbow colors come together to make one light, the crown of universal consciousness. Hybrid, all-encompassing Christ, you are our crown, both human and divine. Free us from rigid categories and grant us the grace of interwoven identities. With the rainbow, lead us beyond black and white dualistic thinking to experience the whole spectrum of life. Rainbow Christ, you light up the world. You make rainbows as promise to support all life on earth. In the rainbow space, we can see all the hidden connections between sexuality, genders, races. May we embody the expression you have created for us. Bless you, beloved, for you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Amen. Amen.